Hello, this is Welcome. Welcome to this brand new Let's Play by email versus Jochenheiden. I'm probably mispronouncing it. I speak only bad English. Sorry, guys. Now we're playing a stock scenario 2. I've already sent my turn off to him, so we should have the first combat replay here shortly. I'm going to have to remember how to edit videos, so forgive me. Our overall strategy, well, let's get the house rules up real quick for you. So our house rules are, so I cannot hunt CVs in the first 2 turns of the game, so I can't, put them between Wake and Pearl. I can do no super deep invasions turn 1, so I have to be within 15 hexes of one of my own bases. We have to keep 4 ships at a minimum in a task force. If you have multiple task force on a first base, that's to eliminate the using like single ship task force or 2 ship task force to run surface convoys out of ammo, and then your other ones get into carriers or amphib task forces. No 4E planes below 10k feet on naval strikes, so you can't just send in B-17s and bomb the hell out of carriers because, well, you can't shoot them down. We have a altitude limit for cap and sweeps for the first 6 months of the war at 20k. Second 6 months of the war, 25, 43 at 30k, and then 44 onward is any height. Paratroopers can be used to capture multiple bases, but before you use them again, you have to rebuild them together. No strategic bombing in China till 43. No more than 1 squadron may bomb a hex per night. Like single, you can multiple hexes, but only 1 per hex. You must play political points across borders, except for the Thai units into Burma and Malaysia, and then into an appropriate headquarters. So no land unit into, say, a air headquarters to save, like, 75% of the costs. You have to actually go into, say, Southern Army or, U.S. Amphib or something like that. You can't use training to dodge sweeps. So if in Manila, he can put all his fighters on training. So when I sweep the base, they just ignore them, but when my fighters or my bombers come in, suddenly they get caught up in the raid and they shoot down all your bombers. So you can't use that. I'm not allowed to cheese and put jakes on submarines to go from 4 range to 10 range, which the game will let you do. It's just not historically accurate, can't happen. It's jakes are too big. No using the reserve mode to avoid movement penalties from air bombing. You can put your units in reserve. They'll do their full movement, no matter if they're bombed. We're in a normal movement when they're normally moving. When you bomb them, if that unit gets bombed, it gets put into combat, i.e., you bomb trucks on the road, they get slowed down. And allies are allowed to give orders to existing task forces and units in China on turn 1 only. I did let him get rid of all his suicidal stuff. So if he wants to stand everything down in Singapore, he's not allowed to move them, but he's allowed to stand them down so they don't just run into cap and automatically die. So you can save aircraft like that. That's fine. I just don't want him. I just didn't let him I'm going to put every single fighter on cap, but he is allowed to stand them down. And then turn 2, he can, move them and do what they want. That should be it for the house rules. And I'll show you the headquarters thing. So let's go to, say, all units, infantry, navy here, and I'll kind of show how this looks like. Let's look something that's not unrestricted. So 14th div, right? So if I want to buy out 14th div, right? If you look at it, I don't have the points for it, but it's in Kwantang Army, right? If I look at this, all these are restricted. There is sometimes you're allowed to put it. There'll be an unrestricted air headquarters that hasn't arrived or something, right? That you could buy it into, which would save half the cost, or 1/3 of the cost. Or so best one probably would be, let's grab a unit from General Defense. In my case, 53rd Division, right? So 53rd is in General Defense. If I was to go to a unrestricted 11th Air Flotilla, this would cost me 1/4 of the points, right? I'm not allowed to do that because it makes no fucking sense, but it would let me do that and buy it out. I have to put it in, an army or Southern Army, Burma Army, like one of these. I can't just save the points by accidentally putting it in air headquarters. That's what we're gonna go with. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense like, hey, I'm gonna put this 3rd division under an air headquarters. No, we're not doing that. All right, so our main targets for first one are going to be singers. We are bombing Singers, Manila, and Hong Kong as the main air threats and aerial attacks. We will also be landing at Mersing, Kuantan, Kota Baru. We're landing at San Fernando. We are landing at Guam and Wake. And then we are paradropping into Vigan, Loag, and Apari. So those are our main invasions for turn 1. Kibitai will be doing a strike on Manila, and then they will head west to either support Wake or cover the invasion of Rabaul / Port Moresby down here. I have broken Kaga off, and Kaga will be covering the Mersing invasion in case he does leave them on, so they can't bomb. And this gives some air power here. I also have the carriers from Battle Bob are heading out down here in case he tries to do a full speed run with Houston or Boise. Maybe they can get some strikes off on them or some of the task force in this area. But many Kiribatai honestly will then break off and head back to Takao. And yeah, so head back to Tau, and then we'll reset our squadrons and rebuild them, upgrade them to zeros, and do that. Meanwhile, in normal standard in China, a bunch of things just could be moved around. We have 104th Division plus the Army headquarters heading back. We have the single division headed to Canton, so we can make a stronger attack on Hong Kong. We are pulling out of Inchang. There's just too much AV here in the clear terrain. Even with the force to mess with it, we'll pull these guys back. We're reinforcing Shenyang in case he decides to attack here. We are moving forces into these 2 hexes and to the south of Kaifeng as we can unload. We need to open the rail line so we can get some other units up here. Mainly also garrison units is moving around, and our big push is going to be along the northern line here. We'll see if we can punch through here while we try to trap and kill as many forces here. We'll bomb all these guys and clear terrain, try to do as much damage as possible. That is our main threat, and so we're going to try to do a rush on the Philippines and Malaysia, focus on Malaysia for an early attack on Java's and Sumatra. I usually don't mess with Borneo, or really the main oil bases, until I capture sort of Beha, Batavia, because I just don't want him to bomb these. I will capture Palembang as early as possible. I can I'll put a bunch of fighters in there. I'll put a bunch of AA in there. So if he wants to attack it, he might do some oil, but hopefully we'll be able to punish him and won't let him get away with that. I do have elements of the 55th Brigade already marching on Moulmein to march into Burma, and we'll see. And then, we'll see how things go in the first couple turns to see if we want to go after Australia, if we want to go after India, and then also if we want to make some attacks up here, maybe take Attack Island and cover our northern flank, maybe threat Anchorage, something like that. We'll have to see. It's all going to depend on how the first turns go. This video will be coming out. I have sent the turn to him, so we'll probably actually have a combat video fairly shortly. And then in turn 2, I will go over my industry plan, my R&D, once we actually have supplies everywhere where we can actually build them up. So I will catch you guys later.